Hey, what's up everybody? Today I'm going to be breaking down my $3,130 profit trade on PTON. This is my P&L showing you this is my real account. These are real profits. The team also took some money off of PTON, so we've got scalps for 10%, 10%, 15%, 30%, and I think a few others posted it in the main chat but wound up not posting it in the profits channel. So let me go over why PTON was even on the watch list in the first place. We're going to start off on the daily chart time frame. I usually will start my analysis on the daily just to kind of get an overview or a larger picture insight as to what the stock is doing on a grand scale. So PTON had highs on the daily of 171. It's now trading all the way down here at around $40. The stock is really beaten up. Like since earnings, this is your earnings drop. That's a big gap right there. Since earnings, the stock has just sold off, sold off, sold off. I mean, it's popped a couple of times, but every time it's popped, that pop has gotten sold and it's made a new recent low. So today it looked quite interesting because the stock actually gapped up. And I was thinking, all right, well, if a stock that is this oversold has gapped up, it might have a little bit of momentum behind it to push it towards the top side, at least a little bit, right? And that's exactly what happened, right? We got the push up at least a little bit. We didn't get a big reversal move up, but we kind of got the move that we were expecting, which was a break of the pre-market high and a run. So on the watch list, then, PTON, if I go to the day trade watch list, PTON right here was a long idea over $40. It was only a side chart watch list item, but it was nonetheless on the watch list, right? And these are posted every morning before the market opens. So PTON was a long idea over 40. Why 40? Well, two main reasons. $40 is a whole number, so it's a natural point of support and resistance. And the second reason is because $40 was also the pre-market high. Not exactly, I could have said 39.9, but that's too exact. I just rounded up. $40 is close enough, and $40 worked extremely well as a resistance point for us this morning. So if we're trading this in accordance with the watch list rules, we know that we're not to trade in the first 5 minutes. We also know that we're not to trade unless the stock breaks the trigger level with a 5-minute candle, and that candle closes over the trigger. So that's the conditions that need to be met before we take an entry. A 5-minute candle close over the trigger level looks good for an entry. I actually broke this rule this morning, and this is something that I've talked about before. I actually broke this rule this morning to be able to capitalize on more profits faster, and I'll talk about that in just a second. I'm going to flip this to the 1-minute time frame so you can kind of get an overview as to like what's really going on here. PTON was very choppy, right? It actually came down to the low of day, but got bought up off of this low of day, and then you had a wick come in right here. So this to me was a very key moment for this stock. It was very, very choppy, 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 choppy. I was mentioning it in the alert room in the main chat. I said it right here. PTON, watch this. If it moves towards high of day, we can take it long. 40.2 is the break that we're looking for. And I said that 5 minutes after the market opened. So I basically moved this trigger level up from 40 to 40.2 after I saw the resistance being put in up here, right? And that was 5 minutes after the open. I did that because I didn't want anybody watching the 1-minute time frame to get faked out. Right, so if you're taking trades on the 1 minute, this is looking like it's breaking the trigger level at $40, right? Which is right here. This is going to fake you out. That is why you have to watch both the 5-minute and the 1 minute at the same time. You see that we never got a candle to close over $40 here on the 5-minute time frame. So the 5-minute time frame serves as confirmation. 1-minute time frame serves as your kind of more exact entries. So I did. I mentioned, hey, let's wait on this to get up to 40.2 before we decide to take an entry, right? Mention it again. PTON looking for the high of day break, right? Keep this one on watch still. And then I gave you, at the moment that it broke, PTON, high of day break. I give you the contracts, can look to take this long, stop loss at 40. That was at the 49 mark. There, let me slide that over. 8:49 this morning, so the 49-minute mark. So here's 48 and 49, right? So there's your break of 40.2, which is the level that I talked about. And then here's your dip back down to 40.2. So when I mentioned this, I initially said that I broke the rules waiting for the 5-minute candle to close. And I took an earlier entry because I saw an opportunity here. And this is something that I've already talked about this a lot of times. But if you go to the Q&A channel within the server and you click on the pinned message here, this first message, this is exactly what I did this morning. If the stock consolidates for a period of time before breaking the trigger, then it likely won't come back because it's already consolidated. Actually, in this case, it did come back. But the example, this was an example that I was giving on Apple. It consolidated for 2 hours before breaking the trigger level, then consolidated another hour just above the trigger before popping. So plenty of time to get in before the pop, though we didn't know it was going to pop. What I meant when I said was what I meant by buy the dip was I meant to buy the dip of the pop and not wait for it to come all the way back. All right, so that is kind of what I'm meaning here. And if that's confusing, I'll explain it to you. This is the pop, right? And when I say buy the dip, I don't always mean wait for this to come back here. Though this would have worked out really nicely, I meant buy the dip at the pop. So on my entry, my personal entry, I was market buying PTON on this candle as it was breaking out over 40.2 and putting in these new highs as it was breaking the high of day. I'm market buying into this strength on PTON. Then I'm adding to my position on the pullback of the pop right there with a stop loss placed at $40. So those were my two buys, and that was before that 5-minute candle closed up here. So this basically allowed me to get in on the break and be able to sell at the high of day, right? Now this worked out for another dip entry down here. So if you are just strictly trading the watch list rules, this is how you would have taken it. You would not have taken that entry, though I'm only explaining that to you and showing you that because it was an opportunity. So if you're only trading the watch list rules, then you're waiting for this 5-minute candle to break over. Boom, there's your breakover. Don't chase the move, right? So you shouldn't be buying here. You shouldn't be buying up here. Wait for the pullback. You want to buy as close to the trigger level as possible with a stop at the trigger. And then these contracts moved enough that you could have taken 20% plus on the pop move back up into the high of day. Cool. So I've got a little bit of a few different lessons here. One of them being that if you're using the 1-minute chart, also use the 5-minute chart. Don't get faked out on the 1 minute. You see that this is a good example of how you could have gotten faked on the 1 minute thinking that it's breaking the trigger level all of these different times. But the 5-minute time frame shows you it was never really truly breaking the trigger level. It was just consolidating. The second lesson here is that if the stock consolidates for a period of time prior to breaking a trigger level or breaking out or breaking a new high of day or whatever it is, then you don't always need to wait for red candles to be formed. You can buy on the momentum break. This is a different type of entry strategy, right? You're buying into the momentum. You're basically you're being a part of this push. That's what you are doing. Buying into this momentum to help push the stock up. Got to be real careful with that because you don't want to buy into overextended momentum, like something like Facebook this morning. You don't want to be buying into overextended momentum like this. But on breakouts, after a stock has consolidated for a period of time, buying at the breakout point, that's not a bad option. The other option is that you could enter still using the watch list training, still using the watch list rules, not chasing, entering on the dip. All right. Well, congratulations to everybody that made some money on this. I hope that this video has helped you out. If it has, press the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And drop a comment if you want me to break down anything else or if these videos help out. Thank you so much for your time. I will see you all in chat later on. Take care. Good luck.